Welcome to the another episode of Abstract Thesis series. In this series, we are digging deep into the Power BI concepts. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you can get notification for our new video. So in this video, what we are trying to see the importance of the date table, independent date table here. So there are certain needs where you cannot do it only with a date table. You need additional date table, and one of those requirements is if I fix up a date and want it to have a trend. So let's say I wanted a 6-month trend or 12 months trend. I want to select a date, and based on that date I want it to. So the best thing to have such scenarios if I can use relative date slicer, but relative date slicer is only limited to today's date, related to today's date. So I can get 12-month trend and all those. So let's start with that, and then we'll come to that requirement, and then I'll showcase you that we'll not be able to do this with date. So what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and create a additional date table, independent date table. I'm going to do it. So what I'm going to do is let me create a date slicer first of all here. So I taken a date and I convert this into a slicer and I make it as a relative date slicer. So I have last few, let's say months. So 1 month it is there right now. Let's make it calendar month. So I have the last one, and then we can have next this calendar month. So if you choose this, then you don't have option, but if you choose last, then you have a last 1 month. Okay. So now we'll go ahead, and what we are going to do is, let me do one more thing. Let me make the font bigger out here. So instead of doing here, what I can do is I can go to my theme in the view, and I can say customize current theme, and let me try to make my font bigger out here. So text, and I make it bigger. Then title, I'll make it bigger. KPI is already bigger. Text headers, titles in general, and let's see, does it? Okay, so we can see the date is bigger. So instead of changing it everywhere, just go ahead and change it in your current theme. Now let's try to create a trend. So we take a month here, and hopefully the month here should be sorted. Now we don't have a data for last month, so that's not coming, but let's go ahead and put net sales out here. So let us see, do we have a major? Otherwise what we are going to do, we don't have a major for net sales. So what I'm going to do, first of all, let me create a major, and then because it will make our task easy, so what we are going to do is we're going to create a major out of here, which we are going to call net, and we are going to use that major. So in a major which we are going to call as only net, and the net major is nothing but sum of net sales, and we are done. So now I have a major net also available with me, so I'm going to use this major. So now net is here. Now we don't have data because right now my data does not have the data till today, so that's not there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it 10 months, and as you can see I made it 10 months. I can get October data, I can make it 12 months, and I get more data. Now if you select a date, now you want this behavior when I select a date, and I should be able to see this data. Now this is where the problem starts. So when you say I want this thing to be done with the selected date, this is where the problem starts, and we don't have an alternate. So like what we would like is, you will say, okay, why don't you select a September as a date? Okay, and then do it. So I can go ahead here and let me make it as a slicer. So I make it as a slicer. Okay, and let say I want to select a date. Let's say this is going till 2020. So let me go ahead and select 2020, and instead of January, let's select August, and say 1st August. And you see, the moment I change it 1st August, this is restricted. If I want to further go down only till 31st August, you see that I can only show now 1 month. Now this 12 month is not working. So okay, so you will say, okay, create a 12-month rolling formula. That might give you. Okay, so let's try out that. So what we are going to do, let's try to create a rolling 12-month kind of a formula, and then see does it give. Okay, so what we are going to do is, let's call rolling 12 net. So we are going to create rolling 12 nets, and we will see calculate. We already have a major net, so we want to take the net major, and then we will take date date in dates in period, and then we say okay date, we have a date table, then start date we can say is the max of date, which is basically is going to give us the max selected date. So we need to have date of date. Somehow I pressed enter, let's wait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take max of date, and then let me remove everything, come back date of date, and then from that max we say minus 12, and then we say month. This is how you create a rolling formula. Okay, so rolling is what we got. Now what is our expectation? So our expectation is this rolling net, we are expecting it to give us 12 months of data. Okay, so but and let's go ahead and delete this for time being. We don't need, we know the purpose now. Once you select it, and that's what we have seen when we done that last video also, which you might have watched. If you did not watch a video before it, where we have shown you the importance of the independent table, that even though once my date is selected and I try to give 12 months, it's not going to show me 12 months. It's going to roll up the 12 months inside this one. But I would like to show a trend. Now this is perfectly fine if you are showing some other dimension. You have 12 months of data, you can have rolling 12 months, and last rolling 12 months also you can have. Now that's what perfectly fine. But here this is not what I need. I need a trend. So to need a trend, I now need an independent table. So understand, the filter once done in Power BI is filtered. The context has been set. The context of August has been set. Everything you can do around, you can go forward, you can move backward, but August is fixed. Okay, there's no change which is going to happen out here. So what I need here is an independent date table. So what we will be able to do is we will be able to create a slicer of, let's say, 12 months and all those. So what we are going to do is, let's go ahead and create one more table. So I say new table, and let's see what definition we have for the date table prior to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this definition as is, and that's why I created it like this, so that I can copy it as is, and there are some additional column which we are not going to use here, and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to say date 1 or 2. So let's call it 2. Okay, and everything, the rest of the things is same. One go we are going to get our table. Now once we get the table, again we will do that month year sorting as usual. We created this month year, and it's not going to sort automatically, so we have to do a sort column, and we have set month year sort column. Okay, and quarter year I have already built up in such a format that actually you can use it directly sorted. You don't need to do any kind of sorting on that. So now fine. So now will you be able to use it? Now we have not joined it, and knowingly we have not joined it. Let's see, does it get a join here? So you can see that date 2 don't have any join. Okay, none of the tables we have in the schema. But when date 2 doesn't have a join, it is definitely not going to filter anything else. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a formula which uses date 2 as a slicer filter. Okay, and then we are going to do certain more things out here. So now what we have to do is, first of all, we need to create a measure which basically can get filtered from the date which we had. Okay, so the new date table. So what we have to also do is right click and mark as a date table, and I've already done that. Mark as date table, and then you can actually go. So let me do unmark, mark as a date table, mark as a date table. You stopped using date table, build it forward. Okay, fine. So unmark as a date table, refresh now. Went ahead and mark as a date table, select the date column. Okay, so I'm marking it as a date table. Now I'm going to create a new formula. So let me do that. So what I'm going to do is, let me create a measure now, which let me call last 12 months. Now, what is last 12 months for me? Okay, so where underscore min or max is one which we can take. Max is the one date which is going to be selected in that table, and from there we are going to take 12 months. So let's take max and max x and filter and all selected date 2, okay, and date 2 dot date. This is the max date, we got it, okay. And we don't need a filter out here, we simply need all selected. So let's remove the filter at the come at the end, and then let's say few alt enter. Now we need min. So how do we get min? Min is date 12 months less. We cannot do use date add, so we're going to use date, and we are going to say year of max. One option is that I subtract 1 year, I go behind 12 months, and month I could have subtracted in the month of again max. And one thing is I take a day, and or I can take one. So I'm going to take one because I want start of the month. Even the end of the month is not there, I'm going to take a start of the month, okay. Or I could have done EO month minus 1 plus 1. So that's another way, okay. Return. Now that's done. Now what I need to do is calculate. I already have a major net. Now we are not going to filter the date, this date, so we should be able to use that as a filter now. So filter, and we are going to say we will filter date table, and date dot date is less than and equal to underscore max, and date of date is greater than and equal to underscore min. Now whatever we selected, we are going to get it. Now let's take this new filter, which is last 12 months, let it rename. We're going to drag it out here, okay, and we didn't see any difference right now, okay. So first of all, we don't need this filter, so we removed it. Now you see, and now I think I don't need the other two filters also. So I remove this rolling, I do remove this one. So now you see, now that there is no date right now, max of the date is coming based on whatever is there. Now let's see if what happens if we start selecting. It's giving us 12 months. It's giving us 12 months, and it's coming till December because December is the last one which we have taken. And you remember when we subtract 1 year, we made it 1. So it's kind of become 13 months, not 12. So let's go ahead and do a small bit of change out here, and we'll say day out here, day of a max. And I doubt still it will show. We have to increase it by a day so that it actually gives us only 12 months, okay. We still have the December, because remember 31st December if we give, then we still have, and then we do a +1 so that we start with the next day, okay. So that's there now, but still the challenge remains there. So what happens when we select the date? So we what we are going to do is we have this date slider already out here, and we are going to replace the date on this one. So okay, so now please remember this date slicer is going to impact that, okay. So we go here, and from the date 2 we go ahead and put the date 2, and we remove the older date 2, and we have all the dates. Let's make it as a relative date slicer. Let's no not relative, we want to have a date, okay. So we make it as, let's say, between right or between right now, okay. And let's change this date to something else, so 2020, and 2020, and then from here we'll go to, let's say, July, and we select 31st July. This is the first date. We still need to change the second date, and second date we go bit up, okay. And you can have a single date basically, okay. Now you see from August, let's see, 12 months. So now if I select a single date, now to make it more flexible, let's say 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, something like that, you need, what do you need to do there? Now that's not going to work because right now there is no filter out here. So what I can do is I can create one more table now out here. So what I need to do for that is I'm going to insert I'm going to create a new table. So let's do it using the enter data. So enter data, and I'm going to say let's say time and value. What's the time? What's the value? both are text. No, one should be numeric. So let's say I'm going to create a couple of values only, last 12 months, and because I want last 12, I say minus 12. Let me see, minus 12, and then I say last 6 months. Minus 6, last 3 months, okay, minus 3, and once it is saved, we will, and then we will call type. Simple, I'm going to name type. And you can use before. If you only want to change one date, just make it before, anything before it, because we are, in any case, we are using the one date only. Right now there is no exact option. If you go ahead and look at this, in what if we are started getting exact option here, right now there is no exact option for the date. I'm hoping that will also come very soon. Now we have a type also out here, so let me get the type. So type, I actually get the time out here. Now this time is right now not going to play any role, and let me also make it as a slicer, but this has no role right now. If I click here, there's no role out here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here on my measure, which is last 12 months. I think it was here. Okay, last 12 months. And now what we can do is, instead of subtracting here, I'm going to do one change. Let me bring one more thing out here. Alt enter, where underscore type, and that's why I got those months, negative months. Okay, and I say max x all selected, not this type. And why I'm doing those, so if nothing is there, it is going to select the max value. So I'm right, I'm not bothered of, I'm not taking time, I'm taking value. Okay, so out of the selected values, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to say minus, instead of -1, I say plus underscore type. Okay, plus underscore type. Okay, this seems like something different. So now we got the stuff ready. Now let us see how does it make difference, or does it make any difference or not. Let's close this, close, click here. So let's say last 3 months, no changes happening, something wrong with our formula. Okay, and actually we are seeing all the dates out here, so we have done something wrong. So let me correct that. I think what I've done is plus type was here, I'm moving it here, and let's see. So I was doing it, it's year, it should have been month now. Let's see, and you can see right bang on the target. So now what we are having is 3 months, make it 6 months and 12 months, and do one more thing, make it as a single select. Go to selection control and say single select. Okay, now much better. So you have a date, you have a date, you have 7 days, 10 days, 12 days, 15 days, but remember, this date is not filtering unless you use it in measure. So that is the key, and that's why if you have such requirement, before you start your data model, you need to consider this, because once you build up certain set of reports on that date and then you want to mix it up, then it's not going to work out. So this need to be in your planning. So if you have certain cases where you need to select the date and you need to go beyond that date boundary, this is the way. See, standard period you can go, but even if you take standard period, we were able to take rolling 12, but rolling 12 for that date. So even if you take YTD for that date will come, you will not be able to see all the dates for YTD. Okay, so that's what you have to take care. Now this is what for this video. Now there could be one question where I want to compare a date range versus date range. Will that happen with one independent and one dependent table, or do I need two independent table? That's the matter for another video. We will have video on that. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you. Keep watching, keep asking questions in comments, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you can get notification for new videos. Thank you.